So for those of you who don't know, this is a very auspicious and important day for millions of people around the world. This is Diwali. Diwali is celebrated by Hindus and Jains and Sikhs all over the world. One could posit that Diwali is the very first on-record festival of lights that we've had in the evolution, spiritual evolution. It symbolizes the spiritual victory of light over darkness, of good and all that is right over shadow and difficulty and challenge in the world. It's a really beautiful, beautiful holiday. And in honor of Diwali, what folks do as a ritual before the holiday, which starts today, is they clean. But they clean like really clean. It's like spring cleaning on steroids. And I decided to do my little bit because I was like, well, Diwali's coming on Sunday, I'll do my little bit. So I cleaned out my closet. My little bit, I said, little. But it took a long time. It's one of those, like, I took every single thing out of my closet, you know, one of those, swept. I put all of my summer and spring clothes away. I brought in all of my winter clothes. And what I noticed when I turned the light on and was kind of standing looking at it, I realized why this is an ancient tradition. It finally became clear to me. So when I stood looking at my closet, I realized there was more light in my closet because there was more spaciousness between things, because the dust and debris had been swept away. And in this beautiful tradition of Diwali, whole houses, and I mean like front porches, everything is scrubbed and cleaned, and the idea is that it is getting rid of any debris so that it creates more room for light to be felt in the home and in these spaces. And this got me thinking about our new thought teaching and our new thought understanding. We do the very same thing, only for us, a lot of what we focus on, and listen, I highly recommend cleaning out your closet if it's time, but from a spiritual perspective, a lot of what we do is we work on keeping our inner world, our inner home, free of debris, free of cluttered thoughts, of not enoughness or of judgments. We really work to, as I always say here, make the unconscious conscious. And so it's this beautiful process that I felt very aligned with on this beautiful holiday of Diwali. There is an ancient Hindu scripture that says, everything becomes enlightened in its light. The key word is its. Everything becomes enlightened in its light. In my light, in your light, in the world light. In Islam, light can be considered as our guidance, if you will. An-Nur, which in Arabic means divine light, light or divine light. It's mentioned many, many times in the Quran as divine guidance, the understanding being that Allah, God, Spirit, Source, is light and is always guiding us. In the Quran, it says, indeed, I am near. Indeed, I am near. This light is near. Across millennia and the great faith traditions, this light is believed to always be within us. And the key here in Earth School for all of us is to learn and to truly master how to harness this light. And that's what I'm talking about today. The title of my talk is A Time for Light. The great Jewish scholar, Rabbi Jonathan Sacks, said, there are always two ways to live in a world that is often dark and full of tears. We can curse the darkness, or we can light a light. May we all help light up the world. May we all help light up the world. And as I mentioned last week, but I am just one person, says 8 billion people. As peace bringers and peace builders of this light, this ancient wisdom of Diwali reminds us that we must stand firm in the spiritual truth. And we have this calling to clean out any inner debris or buildup of complacency. Complacency can sneak up on us just like those dust bunnies in the corners, can't they? Especially now, we are being asked not to slip into complacency. Towards the end of his life, during the Vietnam War, every night, the great peace activist and Quaker minister A.J. Muste would hold a single candle in front of the White House. During the Vietnam War, he did this night after night after night after night. He was often the only person out there holding his single candle. And one very rainy night, a reporter came up to him and said, "Mr. Muste, I just want to ask you, do you really think that you doing this every night, holding this single candle by standing here alone in front of the White House is going to change policy in this country?" And Mr. Muste replied softly. He said, Oh, I don't do this to change this country. I do it so this country won't change me. We all have an opportunity in our own way to light our candle where it is needed. So this story for me always reminds me of hope, of the power of hope. And there's a spiritual tool that I want to bring to you that is a wonderful bridge, if you will, to holding to this spiritual principle, this idea of hope, and remembering or rediscovering hope as our light or the light within others. I like to think of hope also as the spiritual principle that is infinite possibility. So this is a tool I want to give all of us today that helps us when we are feeling hopeless, which I know a lot of folks are feeling these days. I call this spiritual tool What If? And I've been practicing this for some time now. You know, it's like I'm sort of in a laboratory for a while before I bring something to you because I want to make sure that it works before I teach it. And I can tell you that it's been helping me, especially since October 7th, when the horrific things happened in Israel and then everything that happened out of that. So this spiritual tool of what if. So this is a practice that we can authentically do without the sort of accidental and often well-meaning spiritual bypass. Okay? This is the opposite of lying it away. This is going into it. So this infinite possibility that is inherent in every situation is often that light under the bushel, as is written in the Christian scriptures. There is always a light. There is always a light at the center of every situation. There is always hope. There is always infinite possibility, even and especially when it is difficult to see. So this tool helps me raise my vibration, and here's how it goes. If I am feeling saddened, hopeless, afraid about anything in my own life, in the world, the idea of what if is a powerful one. What if there was a ceasefire in Gaza? What if Putin stops attacking Ukraine? What if our democracy is fully restored and gerrymandering becomes outlawed? What if women have full autonomy of our bodies? What if LGBTQIA plus people feel safe in every single space they go to? What if there is a complete and total eradication of homelessness and food insecurity? What if injustice of every single kind is eradicated from this planet? What if? What if? What if? How does that make you feel? Hope. Yeah. What if? Because in that what if, there's this momentary thing that our brain does. And it goes, yeah, yes, 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 yes. And that gets us to the place of action. That helps us get out of that place of despair and inertia. It helps us to move the dial, to move forward. So let's make it more personal. What if this holiday season you are sitting around the, I don't know, say dining room table? And what if there is no drama? And so it is. What if the next time you feel the need to make sure someone knows your opinion, you make another choice and you decide to simply remember the light at the center of them? What if you are moving through some sort of diagnosis or health challenge, and you can open your heart to the possibility that there is a full and total healing? What if the next time you feel like you can't do something in your life, no matter what that is, you open your heart and instead you say, I can, and I will. What if is this incredibly powerful tool that I invite you into this week, and you would be amazed at how many times a day you will walk around going, what if I am not judgmental in that moment? What if I choose not to say that? What if I zip my lip? What if I pray instead? What if I choose forgiveness? What if? Just this week, a beloved congregant, Matthew Lambright, emailed me, and he said, I've been thinking I'd love to be able to put together some the ingredients for a Thanksgiving dinner in a bag, in a grocery bag, with the recipe, and I'd love for us to be able to give that to a couple of families this year. What do you think, Rev Shannon? Applying what if, I went, what if I bring this fabulous idea to the congregation and we make it even bigger? And so we started by deciding that we as a staff, NTCSL staff, that we would sponsor a Thanksgiving meal with all the ingredients. It just requires going shopping and putting the recipe in the bag. You know, we had 40 volunteers last Sunday at our Holiday Angels meeting. It was amazing. It was amazing. It was amazing. And of course, our NTCSL Colorado beloveds are going to be doing work as well. We're going to be doing all kinds of things with the food pantry and welcoming refugees and our newly arrived neighbors. We're going to decorate and bake and do all the things that we can. What if? What if? Think about right now in your mind, whatever it is that you have a tendency to be hard on yourself about, whatever that specific thing is, that inner critic that comes up, what if you decided that that no longer serves you and you don't allow that in anymore? Right? Right? Try it. Try it. What if? It is literally calling forth infinite possibility. So, this idea of light, this idea of that moment of what if, that's our God light, that's our spirit light, that's love within us, reminding us of our strength and that we can choose again. So there's this story that Elizabeth Gilbert wrote many years ago that I think about a lot, and I want to share it with you. It's called, How Can I Be the Light for Someone Else? She wrote, some years ago I was stuck on a crosstown bus in New York City during rush hour. Traffic was barely moving. The bus was filled with cold, tired people who were deeply irritated with one another. With the rainy, sleety weather, with the world itself, two men barked at each other about a shove that might or might not have been intentional. A pregnant woman got on and nobody offered her a seat. Rage was in the air. No mercy would be found there. But as the bus approached 7th Avenue, the driver got on the intercom. Folks, he said, I know you've had a rough day and you're frustrated. I can't do anything about the weather or the traffic, but here's what I can do. As each one of you gets off the bus, I will reach out my hand to you, and as you walk by, drop your troubles into the palm of my hand, okay? Don't take your problems home to your families tonight. Just leave them with me. My route goes right by the Hudson River, and when I drive by there later, I will open the window. I don't know that they open this way anymore. Tee! I will open my window, and I will reach out my hand, and I will throw all of your troubles into the Hudson River. So just leave them with me. Just leave them with me. Sound good? It was as if a spell had lifted. Everyone burst out laughing. Faces gleamed with surprised delight. People who'd been pretending for the past hour not to notice each other's existence were suddenly grinning at each other like, is this guy serious? Oh, he was very serious. At the next stop, just as promised, the driver reached out his hand, palm up, and waited. One by one, exiting commuters placed their hand just above his and mimed the gesture of dropping something into his palm. Some people laughed as they did this, some teared up, but everyone did it. The driver repeated the same lovely ritual at the next stop, too, and the next, all the way to the river. We live in a hard world, my friends. Sometimes it's extra difficult to be a human being. Sometimes you have a bad day. Sometimes you have a bad day that lasts for several years. You struggle and fail. You lose jobs, money, friends, faith, and love. You witness horrible events unfolding in the news, and you become fearful and withdrawn. There are times when everything seems cloaked in darkness. You long for the light, but don't know where to find it. But what if you are the light? What if you are the very agent of illumination that a dark situation begs for? That's what this bus driver taught me, that anyone can be the light at any moment. When life feels especially grim or when I feel particularly powerless in the face of the world's troubles, she writes, I think of this man and ask myself, what can I do right now to be the light? Of course, I can't personally end all of the wars or solve global warming or transform vexing people into entirely different creatures. I definitely can't control traffic. But I do have some influence on everyone I brush up against, even if we never speak or learn each other's name. How we behave matters, because within human society, everything is contagious. Sadness, anger, yes, but also patience and generosity, which means we all have influence, no matter who you are or where you are or how mundane or tough your situation may seem. I believe you can illuminate your world. She writes, in fact, I believe this is the only way the world will ever be illuminated. One bright act of grace at a time. all the way to the river. One bright act of grace, all the way to the river, not just to the next stop, but all the way, all the way. You know, sometimes it's easy to leave here and feel uplifted, and you make it to your car. You might even make it through brunch. And then, I am inviting you to make it to the next bus stop and the next and the next, to be that light for yourself in your what if, and for the world in your here I am. I want to complete today by sharing with you again this beautiful, beautiful poem by Reverend Jan Richardson about hope. I believe it may land in a different way now that we've shared this together. She writes, "So may we know the hope that is not just for someday, but for this day, here, now, in this moment that opens to us. Hope not made of wishes, but of substance. Hope made of sinew and muscle and bone. Hope that has breath and beating heart. Hope that will not keep quiet and be polite. Hope that knows how to holler when it is called for. Hope that knows how to sing when there seems little cause. Hope that raises us from the dead, not someday, but this day, every day, again and again and again." This is a time of hope. This is a time of light. You know, I have been so heartened seeing so many rabbis from around the world calling for a ceasefire, calling for peace. It has been so heartening, given everything. I think that we can follow that lead in every way possible. We can choose peace at the dinner table and everywhere we go.